We're doing well. All right. So everyone, welcome to Uncovering Spiritual Gifts with myself, Mish, and my co-host and guest presenter today, Melissa from Cosmic Roadmap, who's going to talk about astrogeography today. I'm really excited about this series because what we have been doing as a community is being able to connect individuals from different parts of the world. And we have been able on Tuesdays to do our normal meetups, but now we're doing more specialty events. And now I'm taking all the beautiful souls that I have met in my journey and taking them to be able to just share their gifts and how they're able to work within their gifts and live in their purpose. So today, Melissa's going to talk a little bit more about astrocartography or astrogeography, astromapping. They are used interchangeably. I'm sure Melissa will talk more about that. Her personal journey. And then also just where to go, looking at your astromap, where should you go? How can I explore the world? What kind of things can we do? And then also a chance for questions. You can ask questions at the end. You can drop them in the chat throughout the meeting. Totally up to you. But yeah, this is how the event is going to go today, which I'm super excited about. So Melissa, thank you so much for living in your purpose. Thank you so much for living in astrogeography, loving astrogeography, everything about it. I'm so interested on this topic as well. And I am going to pass it off to you to give us your expertise.
Yes, thank you so much. And actually, you can let people know how I met you, because I actually started my digital nomad. I was starting my digital nomad journey back on July 4th, and I met one of your friends on a flight. Yeah, I was from Newark to Dublin, and I was getting off of the Dublin flight, and yeah, she was like, "I love your hair." It was teal at the time, and she's like, "These are my brand colors. You're wearing my brand colors." And she showed me her tattoo, and yeah, we went off. I took her information. I'm like, "Oh, you're cool," and then we go off to our next flight, and she walks in and she's like, "Wait, you're on the same flight?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to Valencia." She's like, "Me too." So it's just funny how, yeah, I met another digital nomad as I was starting my digital nomad journey. So I love
It was
that.
so nice.
The synchronicities.
It is. And I talk so much about like spiritual gifts. And as soon as Jocelyn had said, like, I met this super cool chick on this flight, she's into astromapping, I was like, send me her information because I love this. And this was last year. Like this was last summer, right? It must have been.
Yeah, this was July 4th. Yeah.
Yeah. So another person who just came into my path that I was like, I'm going to have an opportunity to showcase how cool you are. I don't know how, and I don't know when, and I don't know why. And then 1 year later, here we are, June 7th, being able to show.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So I did I do tarot as well, and I pulled a card, and it was Temperance. So this is actually a really, I don't know if you can see it. There we go. But you can see it's the sun and the moon, but it's all about balance and harmony. So this is a message for everyone. It has to do with alchemy, blending energies, harmony, moderation, masculine and feminine balance, duality and amalgamation, the fluidity of time, meditation, and the perpetual motion of life, neutrality, restraint, patience, and purpose. And the little quote is, "I walk the middle path and I nourish my spiritual wholeness." So I thought that was perfect for uncovering your spiritual gifts.
Heck yeah.
All right. So let me share my screen. Let's see. So you can see my screen now?
Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
I love Canva.
All right, so uncovering your spiritual gifts with astrogeography. So pretty much I transitioned from to a full-time digital nomad after a life of 13 years as an engineer. I loved planning family trips. As a kid, I had this nomad spirit that led me to 20 countries even before I started my digital nomad journey. So, I would work and then I would try to take, a week, a month, but that just wasn't enough. And I finally hit that point of like, I need to escape the matrix. And at my lowest point in life, I stepped into a yoga studio around like 2019, about a year before COVID. And I started becoming this modern day curandera, like a healer. And I got into Reiki, I got into Ayurveda and then astrogeography. And I was just like, how do I make a business out of this? Because I always had this entrepreneurial spirit. I just didn't know what to do. And I knew that I didn't want to do just, these hour-long Reiki sessions. I knew I didn't want to go study Ayurveda and just do that. And then astrogeography just fell in my lap. At that yoga studio, somebody, had their laptop open. They're like, that you can figure out how to, be in the world based on your astrology. I'm like, no way. And they show me these maps and I'm like, this is so cool. And it just brought me back to being a child. And I looked at all those 20 countries that I had been to, and I started, piecing together the planetary energies, why things manifested, why I felt certain energies in these places. And that's how I started learning little by little. And as the time went by, I realized that I was meant to be this bridge, that I was meant to guide people, because I would send people the free website, astro.com. You can pull up your map for free. And that's what I use for my sessions. And people would just look at me like perplexed, like, what are these lines? What is this? What does this mean? It's like its own code. So I stepped in and I started offering free sessions at the beginning because I had no testimonials. I did a 30-day challenge, and that's how I got started. So my signature Reiki Astrogeography service actually combines these three energetic tools. So Reiki, Ayurveda, and then astrogeography. And it makes sense because Reiki, you're working with the energetic body. Ayurveda, it's almost like the connection with the body and the environment. And then astrogeography, you're connecting with the cosmos. So it's, you're working from the inside out. And I pretty much align endless wanderers with their purpose. So I want them to stop running away from themselves, from their life, because I used to use travel as an escape. So I thought I was working only with digital nomads, and then I realized digital nomads will go anywhere, regardless of what you tell them. So I opened that up to spiritual nomads. But I've also had mothers come to me, people changing their careers, entrepreneurs, anyone that's transitioning out of like big life decisions. So school, new home, retirement, divorce, leaving a relationship. So I work with, the whole gamut. So it's been fun to work with everyone that has come, across my path. All right, so what is astrogeography? You're probably wondering what this is. It was developed by an American astrologer, Jim Lewis, in the 1970s. It's known as astrocartography, astrogeography, or locational astrology. And then astromaps, they show lines that were strongly influenced by different planets at the time of your birth. So parts of your personality can be intensively activated by coming into contact with certain power zones. You may notice that there's circles on your map, and that is the strongest energy of that particular planet, of that planetary line. So you may notice that you have them in the middle of the ocean, on an actual country. And I usually tell people if you do have it on a particular place, then you're lucky because you get to access that energy, that strong energy of that planet. And you don't necessarily have to travel to these places. You can activate these energies by connecting with people, with spirituality, with cultural influences. from all these geographical regions. And I try to stay within 250 kilometers or 150 miles of these lines. So if it's good energy, you want to stay within that radius. If it's, disharmonious energy and it might shake things up, then I try to stay outside of that radius. All right. And my signature method, like I mentioned, it combines astrogeography, Ayurveda, and Reiki. And sorry, the sun is like hitting my face because I'm in Bali right now. There we go. So astrogeography, I stepped in because I am a first generation immigrant. So my parents, they came from Guatemala. They came to the US to start a new life. And I really never felt connected to the US. And I also didn't feel connected to Guatemala. I was like in this limbo. So astrogeography was this way of connecting to different energies around the world, even if it wasn't my ancestral land, even if it wasn't my birthplace. And I also have a background in sustainable, like ethical travel, because I do have a master's in business, in sustainable business. And I've also traveled to 20 plus countries. So I have that background to guide people. And my engineering background also allows me to see patterns across all these modalities. So that's why I do combine, astrogeography, Ayurveda, and Reiki all together, even though they don't seem like the logical blend of energetic modalities. But they do make sense. So Ayurveda, it helps you understand your environment, where you're meant to be. Some people like being in the cold based on their dosha, based on their Ayurvedic body type. Some people like to be in the heat. Some others like to be in humid environments. So it helps you understand why, you may prefer being in Iceland versus Miami. So, and understanding why, maybe you may have some disharmony with a partner that likes a different type of environment, and trying to find a balance there, some harmony. And then the Reiki I do include because sometimes we're running away from away from something. We're running away from problems, or problems keep showing up in our lives. And the Reiki, it helps to unblock anything energetic in the body that may be preventing us from traveling, maybe preventing us from seeing a situation the way that it's meant to work out. So.
Actually, I
All
think
right,
there
so
might is anyone on this call that does Reiki as well? I know I have a
Oh, yeah.
lot of individuals in my meetup groups. Anna, do you do Reiki? No. I know there was a couple of people that in the community. So
Yeah.
just
There's quite a few. All right, so this is my legend. This is my cheat sheet. So these are the planetary energies that you'll see on the astro maps, and I usually split them up between divine feminine and divine masculine. So you have soft passive energy, and then rigid structured energies. And this is all color coded based on how we're going to see it on the astro map. So sun energy is all about sun. Sun energy is all about fame and being seen. Venus energy, love, community. Moon energy is the opposite of sun energy. So it's kind of like this retreating energy about fertility and family, feeling at home. And I'll go a little deeper into the moon energy because I'm actually in my moon energy here in Bali. So I'll let you know like what has manifested here. And Jupiter energy is all about luck and fortune and abundance. That one is a really good one. And my top three that I like to look at are Sun, Venus, and Jupiter. But really these four are great. But just knowing the opposing energy that you have between Sun and Moon is good to know. But Jupiter energy, that one is good all around, for relationships, for career, for spirituality. So if you want to manifest something, Jupiter energy is a really good one to align with. And then the black lines that you'll notice, there's three. There's Pluto energy. And that one's all about rebirth and transformation. I used to live on the Pluto energy, and a lot of lessons, a lot of rebirth, and just, people leaving my life, and new opportunities coming in. So I always constantly felt like when's my next vacation? Because it was a lot. It was a lot of energy to deal with. And just looking throughout my life, it makes sense. It makes sense that I needed to learn those lessons, but it's an energy that I usually recommend for retreats, right? Like you want to go through like this fast, like healing transformation. That is the energy to connect with, but not necessarily to live on. And then you have Chiron, which is the wounded healer. And that one is all about healing past wounds. And then the moon node, the north node, that's another favorite of mine. And that one's related to your purpose. So what is your dharma? Like, what are you meant to do? So it helps you like unlock and like peel back the layers and see what you are meant to be doing, in this world. And then the more rigid structured energies, we go into Saturn. That one is like the grandpa energy. It's all about perseverance and discipline. So if you ever hear about your Saturn return, it's usually around like 28, 30. It's when all the responsibility starts dropping on you. So that is that Saturn energy. And that's another energy that's a bit hard to live on. So I would only recommend that if you're working on something, if you're trying to work through a project, to write a book, because I've been realizing recently with my clients and a few friends, when they're in relationship and one of them is in their Saturn energy, it's like the other one feels neglected, right? Because you're just like in work mode. You're like, all right, like I want to start a YouTube channel. I want to do this. I want to do like, and the other person's like, are we gonna ever hang out? So that's the energy that I've been realizing with especially couples that are, one is in their Saturn energy, and it's like, whoa. And then your Uranus energy is like the teenager. This is like the rambunctious teenager. And this one's all about innovation, like unconventional ideas. So this one's a fun one, but it's also a bit unstable. So Saturn is all about stability, and then Uranus is the opposite. So it is unstable. So it's really when you want things to shake up, when you want those unconventional ideas. Maybe you're trying to figure out a new program, and that is the energy to connect with. Excuse me. And then you have Mars energy. That one is like, it's similar to Aries. It's very fiery, and it's all about drive and passion. So that one is good for relationships, for career. And then moving into communication. So Mercury, you always hear about Mercury retrograde. And this has to do with communication all around. It could be, speaking to someone. It could be social media, emails. So usually during Mercury retrograde, communication in all forms shuts down, or there's some type of dispute or something. So that is a good energy actually to tap into during Mercury retrograde, because it helps elevate whatever's happening at that time. So, and then Neptune, we're here for spiritual gifts. Neptune is all about spirituality. So that one is a good one to also retreat, to like tap into ancient wisdom. So that is a great one to look at. And in the next slide, I'll let you know, the top 3 that I look at for spirituality. So I won't go through this, but this is also my cheat sheet on how I go through my sessions. So if you're looking for love, these are the energies that we would look at. For finance and business, these are the energies. And then for spirituality, you have Neptune, Chiron, and Pluto. So those are the top energies that I love to mention, especially if you're looking to start a retreat, you're trying to figure out, your next program around, based on spirituality. Neptune really like opens you up spiritually. So that is a great energy to always tap into for spirituality. And then Chiron, because you're healing past wounds. It's all about healing. And then Pluto, because of the transformation. So definitely great energies to tap into for spirituality. And then for home and travel, if you're looking to settle down, you'll notice that they're the same energies for traveling. So home and travel, the only difference that Uranus, I do recommend Uranus for traveling. So if you want spontaneity, if you want something different, then that energy is good for the just to shake things up. But for home and for settling down, that may not be the best energy to live on, just because of the instability. All right, so just like I mentioned at the beginning, I retired early, before 40. So I retired at 39 from my engineering career, from my 9 to 5. And then I started traveling the world a month after that. So I began in Spain, and I connected to my Venus energy. So I had a lot of, I felt like I was lacking that energy. Excuse me, give me 1 second. Yeah, so I went to Spain to connect to that energy in Valencia, of all places. I looked at Spain. I had never been there, and it's funny because I have Spanish ancestry. I just never thought I would go there. So I looked at Google flights, and Valencia was the cheapest out of all of them. So I'm like, I'm going to Valencia, I guess. And that, those flights got me to connect with Jocelyn, Misha's friend, and that's how I'm here. But it's just funny how the synchronicities happen. But Venus energy was an energy that I wanted to connect with, because I felt like I needed more love in my life. And I had Venus AC energy there. So Venus AC has to do with the self. So you'll notice there's different axes to the planets, and I won't get into it here. But the particular axis that was there was related to the self. So I started indulging. I wanted gelato every day. I wanted to go shopping. Like, I was treating myself. Like, I just, compared to, the Pluto energy that I was in, where I'm like, when am I leaving? Like, when like, when is the next vacation? When am I out of here? So it was really good to just, tap into more self-care, to take care of myself. So that's what the Venus energy is all about, especially in the AC axis. And then I went on to Bali. So Spain was just a month and a half. And then I moved on to Bali, because I'm like, I'm not going from Newark to Bali directly. So let me get a little buffer in there. And the real start of my spiritual nomad trip was to start in Bali, to attend this 1-week retreat, that actually I found out about through my client. My client was asking, like, am I meant to do my retreat in Bali? Is it going to work out? And when I looked at her map, I'm like, yes, you should totally do it. And right after our session, I'm like, I think I'm actually going to go to your retreat. So so she started out as my client, but then I ended up as hers. So that allowed me to finally connect to my moon energy. So when I looked at my astro map, I had moon energy there, and I knew I wanted this feeling of home, because back where I was in this transformative energy. I just never felt like I was truly at home. So I went to Bali specifically to get that feeling of home. And the instant I stepped on the island, I felt like I could start working, like the lush green, like Mama Bali just like surrounded me. It was like, you're not gonna leave. And I'll tell you, like, all the little things that happened afterwards. But I started traveling with purpose rather than aimlessly. which is what I was doing before, and which a lot of people do, right? They're just like, I'm going to DR, I'm just going, I'm gonna go to Peru, and it's like, why? Like, what's the purpose? So at least with astro mapping, it allows you to put a little purpose, like, oh, I'm going to go there for spirituality. Oh, I'm going to go there to find love, or to pour more love into myself. So, all right. So just to show you, this is my astro map in Bali, and actually, some will have a lot of lines, and this area in particular, I don't have many lines. I only have my moon line that went through Lombok, and what was interesting, I went to Lombok recently, and I this from the beginning, I was like, oh, if I go to Lombok, I'm going to fall in love with it because my moon line goes through there, but not necessarily. I came to Bali for specific reasons, because I know that it has a like this great supportive like spiritual nomad community, and it made sense why I landed here, and I'm still feeling the effects of the moon energy, and that's why I came here. But just keeping in mind that just because you have a line through a certain place doesn't mean that you have to go there. So when I went to Lombok, I didn't feel quite at home. I connected to certain things, like the traditions. They have a huge weaving villages, and I really love like artisanal like crafts. So that's one of the reasons that I would go back there. But Bali is my place. It's where I feel at home, where I can start building things. And yeah, a lot of things manifested here. So the magical timeline. So 1 month of being here, not even 1 month, it was like 3 weeks of being here. So week 1, I was here for that retreat. Another week I was here with my sister, and then the third week I went to some random bamboo workshop. And synchronicities, once again, it's like you just follow what you're being called to go to, right? I was initially supposed to come to Bali for about a bamboo workshop back during COVID times, and that got canceled. So on that third week, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should just take a bamboo workshop just for the hell of it, because I haven't done that while I was here. And I meet an Australian lady who runs this bamboo workshop, and she tells me about a way to stay here, to get my 2-year visa. And I didn't understand anything about, 3 weeks in, I'm like, I don't know, I don't understand any visa talk or like business talk. And she sends me a message like, hey, there's an opportunity to join this business here. It will allow you to get your 2-year visa. And I was just like, okay, whatever, like connect with this person. But I didn't pay her any mind until the next day. She's like, no, really, like they need to know like next week, like if you want to join. So from like a Thursday to like a Monday, I was like asking my partner, like, should I do this? Should I jump onto this business? And it's like, it's a no-brainer. Like that's why you're there. Like just do it, and you'll figure it out as you go. So that's what I did. I was, Bali is pretty big. I was in Canggu at the time. And then I took a grab, almost an hour to go sign the papers to join this business. I didn't know anybody in that room, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm joining this business with all of you guys. But it's been a beautiful experience, because little by little, it's forcing me to figure out, what do I want to invest in? Because I have my investor visa now. So do I want to invest in real estate? Do I want to do import export? Do I want to start my own brand? So there's, it is pushing me into this world of entrepreneurs, which yeah, even with fear and even with doubt, that's something that I tell everyone, just do it. Just like Misha, right? She's jumping on all the platforms and just doing it, because you just learn on the way. You learn as you go. So now I call Bali my home. I've been here, 6 months since I signed those papers. So I have another 1.5 years to go, and I'm hoping to extend that as well. And then after that, a month after joining that business, I met my girlfriend. And my other partner in New Jersey is here, but I met another love here, which we're still together. So it's just beautiful how things have manifested. And then week 3, we moved in together. Third month we moved in together. And then the 4th month I started joining and participating conferences. So I had the opportunity to go to Jakarta for my business. So we were showcasing a lot of traditional arts that we were turning into NFTs. So like into NFTs have to do with like crypto. So I was jumping into all these like crazy projects out of nowhere. And I even had the idea of like starting a hostel, which didn't work out, but it was a good real estate lesson. And it's allowing me to keep moving forward. And I feel like month by month, there's just something new. Like this month, I'm writing a chapter for another multi-author book. And then I'll be a part of a summit for that book. So yeah, I just feel like Bali's just opening up to me little by little as I keep spending time here, and all the serendipitous connections that keep happening. All right, so now I'm turning the tables on you. And are there any places that have been calling you your whole life? Like, just this is your time to just like write down, what emotions have stirred in you when you think of certain places that have been calling you. Do you have any ancestral connections? Do you have like a past life or soul connection to any of these places? Have you met anyone from there? How has that encounter felt like? Are there any languages that you're drawn to that weren't spoken growing up? Maybe you hear like Greek or French and you're like, why? Like, why does it hit me? And when you start looking at your map, you may have connections to certain places. And do you notice yourself watching movies, YouTube vlogs of certain places? Does your body perk up when you hear music from a certain region or language? So these are all questions. And I'll give you just like 2 minutes so you can just kind of jot down and we can kind of discuss anything that comes up.
For me, it would be like Japan.
Okay. And what is it about Japan that you usually like? What makes you like perk up, or what is it?
Okay,
is it the language? Is it the
yes,
culture?
I think a little bit of everything. So the culture,
Okay.
I like, they are very traditional. So I'm attracted to some of the traditions. I like the fact that a lot of that is focused on improving or maintaining good health. That part attracts me because I'm very focused on like natural healing, and so that part. And then also about the language, one of the things that I always find attractive is like, for me, it's easy to understand them. So, but I don't know, but like I haven't really find the time to learn the language. So maybe just going in there and get more immersed in the culture and the daily life. But at the same time, I found out like they have their own literature, which attracts me, because there's so many languages in the world, but not all the languages are developed enough to write their own books, write their own stories, write their own TV series and all that. So that is the part that I like. If I end up learning Japanese, I will have some books to read, some stories to read. And so that part.
Wait.
And Yeah.
I was gonna say you can definitely connect to Faris because he's been to Japan and he learned a bit of Japanese. So thank you, Thelma, for sharing.
You're welcome.
Looks like Anna
Anyone
has
else? Yeah.
Paris.
Hi. Yeah, so for me, this is actually not recent, but now that you're saying what you're saying, I'm starting to put some pieces together here. Many years ago, I started to travel like you, just whatever was calling me, and I was just going. And I didn't really have the money to do it, but I found the money. But one of the places that was really calling me was the south of France, the Provence region. I've never heard of the Provence. I don't know anyone that's from the south of France. I don't know. All I know is it called me and I found a way to get there. And I mean, when I got there, it was beautiful. I met some wonderful people. You know, there was nothing other than just the fact that it was calling me. And even to this day, when I think about the trip or just even going back, I get so excited. And again, I don't know anyone who's from there. I don't know, past life, I don't know, but it's very strong in me. And like today, my favorite wines are from that region. I don't know,
Interesting.
it's in me. And it's a little scary sometimes when I that pull, when I think about that pull, how strong it is.
Yeah.
So as soon as you said what you did about it, and I immediately was like, oh, Provence for me, the south of France.
Yeah.
Out of the blue, out of nowhere.
It's interesting that you're, already intuitively you were, drinking the wines and connecting to that energy. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what energies you have in that region.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Faris, did you want to say something? You're muted. Let me see. Misha, did you want to say something? You got your hand up.
Yeah, actually, the city that I'm in right now, Cape Town, South Africa, I knew nothing about Cape Town, nothing about Cape Town. Africa was my last continent. And I wanted to go to Cape Town for so long. I mean, going to Africa sounds so terrifying because it's like, in my mind, in an American mindset, it's like safari land, right? Totally not, saying for all Americans, especially. But what I did was I looked at my astro map, and something that I was working on last year was working in feminine energy and really working within my relationships, specifically with women, and being able to communicate with them. So then I looked at my map, and like my Venus line and Mercury, like love and communication, just like straight through Cape Town, South Africa. And like the community that I have here is insane. And then I met my partner, who is like the most patient, communicative, kind, warm person. And like the rehabilitation that's happened between the two of us is like incredible. That like I go back, like you said, and I go back to places that I've been before, and I'm like, that makes so much sense. Like in Peru, I was like struggling so much, or why I felt like, in Thailand, it was a really like a painful journey for me, and like to see all the lines. But like right now, like I purposely chose Cape Town to work in feminine energy and work within like communication with my feminine group. And it's been amazing. That's why I can't leave. The cycle's not done yet.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, sorry.
There we go.
No, I'm on my phone and I couldn't find the unmute button my first time on the phone. The layout
It's all
is different.
good.
No, by the way, I was gonna respond to Thelma before. About Japan. I feel like I find I find that it's really great for me. Being there, like spiritually, it wasn't what I intended. I didn't go there to kind of like have this spiritual transformation, but it just so happens I went there because of the culture, and I also learned some Japanese already, and I really went there specifically for culinary, and I took a bunch of different cooking classes there. And because the Japanese, the way they do everything, it's pretty much spiritual. They put so much detail into everything, and yeah, it was really like a spiritual. It turned to a spiritual journey for me, which really, which helped me tremendously, like in my healing and stuff. And yeah, I totally recommend Japan, and also, and I mentioned friends, and yeah, I've been trying to connect to the energy of the country by learning French and stuff. And also because I love cooking and baking too, I kind of like do a lot of like French like patisserie and stuff. Yeah, and yeah, I just love how people mention the two places that I find resonance with. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Mhm.
Hey, Brian.
So I had taken my first trip as a young man to England, Ireland. I was so seized by the Neolithic spiritual sites, whether it was Stonehenge, the stone circles, passage tombs. And it was always an overwhelming feeling for me. And I didn't know whether I, kind of necessarily connected with it. I mean, yeah, felt some energy. I didn't really know what that was. And, kind of more recently, and I took a trip to Southwest France and Ireland last year, specifically visiting a lot of these spiritual kind of sites. And it just continues to draw me in. I'm thinking about going. I'd love to go to some of the Outer Hebrides Islands in Scotland, which have some of these old stone circles. There's just such a feeling of, I haven't been there yet, and they're so remote, but there's just such a sense of purity and awe, that man 5,000, 10,000 years ago just had this, they had these incredible spiritual lives and visions. It's always just been kind of central and core. So I certainly want to, kind of continue those kind of journeys to those kind of sites, wherever they might be, for sure, around the world.
Thank you for sharing.
Yep.
What have you felt in those particular areas? Have you visited any sites?
Oh, yeah, to be sure. I mean, many of them,
Yeah.
particularly this last, both in Southwest
Mhm.
France and in, kind of Ireland. And there's just this incredible energy that you feel, you feel. There was one site where I lay down on the ground, and it was just the most amazing experience, that I've ever had. And I think, the site was on one of these ley lines. So there was
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
And because there's also portals around the world, like Sedona, I think has there's a lot of energy there. So there's the earth chakras. So certain areas around the world have energies related to the chakras in the body.
I think that'll be something that I want to, try to explore as well, visiting some of those, strong sites, kind of around the world.
Well, thank you for sharing, Brian. And I think one last person, Tao. I don't know if you had anything to share. Or... Nope. All right. So we'll just keep on going. Thank you for for being so interactive. So this is the fun part. So I will actually do some live readings for 3 of you. And yeah, we can either talk about the places that you mentioned, or we can look at a different place. So let me pull up, so I don't think, and not everyone showed up, so bear with me. Have you used this, Misha, the wheel of names?
I have actually. I used to host virtual team building events, so I'm very
okay.
in this. I'm actually really curious. I mean, you'll do the random picking, but I'm actually very curious, Brian, if you find that like that whole part is just like you have lines going right through England. It's its own thing, but I'm just
Oh, there
curious.
are certainly. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, indeed. Yeah. And then, in any particular place, it may be, so much more aligned. Oh, very much so.
Love that.
I got everyone right, and Brian. Yep.
Oh, you can take me off. I want other people to have a chance.
Okay.
Yeah, you can take me. Give them better chance.
All right. So let's see who the first person is.
Drum roll.
Oh, and it's Brian.
Oh my God. Oh, wow.
Yay!
That one.
All right. So you can send me your birth information privately, and then I'll put it into to astro.com.
Okay. Wow.
So you can just do the private chat. If I can find it in here. Oh, there we go.
So do I fill this out now? Or
yeah, so you just send me your birthday and the time and your birthplace, and then I'll put it in.
but am I doing something on the screen that you're showing, or
No, you're not. No, you're just sending me your information, and then I'll put it in.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay. All right.
yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Can you still see the astro.com?
No.
Not now.
Okay. All right, good.
I did before though. Yeah. I may go to the site. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can just drop your information into
Into the chat here.
chat.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. And then while you're doing that, I'll pick the other two. Yay, Anna.
I hope she's still on. I know she had to hop off early.
There you go. Right.
What's you need?
I'm still here.
Yay.
Okay.
I'm so happy you're still here.
And then Anna, do you need to drop off? Do you want to go first?
It's up to Brian. I mean, I do need to drop off.
Yeah, I know that. What? So, birthday, place.
Yep, you got the birthday, birth time, and birthplace. Yep, got it.
You got everything.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So
and is it confusing that I was over 2 months premature?
It shouldn't, but yeah, yeah. I just put in when you popped out. So.
Yeah, it's kind of. I wasn't intended to be born on that day, but.
And Anna and Thelma was the last one. Congratulations. So both of you can send me the same information. So your birthday, your birthplace, and your birth time.
You say your birthday as in the
Thank
date?
you.
The date, yeah, the date.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, birth date. Let me put it in.
So you want, I'm sorry, the month and the year, or?
Yeah, so birth,
Okay.
birth date, birthplace, and your birth time. Month, day, and year. And I'm just putting the information in, so Misha, you can chit chat for a little bit.
And
I'm
did you want to know, Melissa, what, not necessarily a specific place, but what our motivation is in terms of why or where, and kind of what we want to be drawn to? So beyond what I said in the beginning, in terms of these spiritual sites, you know, Neolithic sites, I mean, if there's something else, is that I would rather have you focus on? Do you want to hear that?
As I go through the map, you can tell me that.
Okay.
And I'm just verifying it is October, right? October 7th.
Yes, October. Yep. Oh, that's right. You're in the non,
Yeah, here they
non-British
flip it.
yeah, they say that. Yeah.
Yeah, this is I love astromapping. I look at my astromap all the time when I make a lot of especially with traveling. I mean, and there's a lot of travelers on this call as well. I know with the spiritual community. There's been a couple of people similar to the Neolithic sites that have been interested in more of like places like Guatemala as well, which also have some really deep, beautiful feelings. I think it was 2 calls ago, we talked about Lake Atitlan, where you just like step into Lake Atitlan, you're like, there is some magic happening here. And I don't know how, but I just feel it. So yeah, it's curious to see like what part of it is like the earth and what part of it is our own personal chart.
Yeah,
Like
there's definitely a combination. Like I was saying with Lombok and Bali, I'm just like, I'm still deeply connected to Bali. There's just something here that's like, child, you are mine. Like you're not leaving. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's also has a lot to do with like, I mean, really deep traditions that were connected to the earth, right? Like, especially like, I mean, the fact that even in Indonesia, they still, you know, step outside and provide the gods with earth, wind, water, and fire. Like that's crazy. You know, it's just so amazing. Still been able to continue to tap into that space of, you know, tradition connected to the earth and the elements. So cool.
Exactly. Yeah. And all of the ceremonies are still led by the moon. Like every full moon, there's a ceremony and everybody's out, you know, in doing processions. And it's really wild how it's very cyclical. Yeah. And beautiful. Right.
Yeah.
Still entering information.
Yeah, I'm very curious. I'm very curious about what people are going to ask because, like I said, there's a couple of people on this call that I've had the beauty of being able to connect with them for almost 5 or 6 months now. So it's nice, like Ryan and Anna, Tao, Thelma. I know you're one of our newer ones. Yeah, so it's going to be really exciting to see. And also to see what you connect with. Yeah, like what, you know, which lines you use. The AC, IC, MC, OC, WC, all the CC, I don't understand.
all the axes, yeah. Yeah, so that's what I was saying, like AC has to do with self, IC has to do with like family, MC is it's like future and you know, you got AC, AC, DC, MC, and IC. So the way that I look at it, AC and DC are the opposites. One is self and one is community. And then the IC and the MC, IC has to do with like the past and MC has to do with the future. So I usually, yeah, I don't go into that because then it's like your eyes like start glossing over.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
So see, we just stay with the archetype of the planets for now.
No, I love that chart that you had though, the one where you were doing the colors and like what they mean. Like that was cool.
Yeah, yeah. As an engineer, it's like I need everything to be color coded and like visuals.
For sure. Has anyone on this call pulled up their astro map before the call today? I'm just curious.
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
Oh,
I did, but I could not understand any of it other than one of my planets. It's Jupiter, and I'm also on their moon. So those are my two main, according to the chart that I got as a result, and that makes a lot of sense for a lot of angles in my life. But other than that, I was not able to understand anything else.
Yeah, it looks like a child just decided to like color with different markers across a picture of the globe. And that's what they did.
Yeah.
And it made some waves. Yeah, that's crazy.
All right. So
I'm like, wait, I can paint that. I can paint that.
All right. So we got Anna's chart. So you can let me know what you want to connect with. Is it love? Is it spirituality? You know, like finding home, or is it just you're curious about France? You can just let me know what you're curious to find out about. Just one place to keep it short.
Yeah, I'd be interested in the France. What's that all about?
All right. So this is astro.com, just to let you know. You can also look up Astro Click Travel. So just like this, just Google Astro Click Travel and it brings you to the guest page, or you can actually sign up completely for free. And it allows you to put in like up to 100 people. So that is something that you can do on your own. But yeah, let's zoom in to France. So you do have a lot of healing energy. So this is the AC that I was talking about. So it has to do with self. So a lot of healing energy in France overall. So these are your primary energies. You can see even before I turn on any harmonious or disharmonious aspects, this is when it gets crazy. But just looking like straight at your map, your primary lines, you can see that you have this Chiron line that goes through France and Spain. You have the love line that goes through Denmark, down into Germany, Switzerland, and Italy. And then the Uranus energy, so a lot of spontaneity. So you have this healing, love, and spontaneity energy in most of Europe in this region. And then as I turn on the harmonious aspects, you have even more harmonious aspects in France. So you can see that I turned harmonious here, and it brought some more lines. So these are minor energies. They're not as strong as the primary energy that's there. So just keeping that in mind, but it's still affecting you. So in southern France, you do have that love energy. So the same love energy that I had in Valencia, where you feel like you want to indulge. So it makes sense that you love your wine from that region. You also have moon energy. So they're both AC energy. So it has to do with self. So you feel at home with yourself, and you're also like indulging and like just tapping into a lot of self-care, drinking your wine, and healing. So at the same time. So yeah, that's a lot of good energy overall. So and it feels like it was a very healing energy for you too, like as you're
That's a good word. Yeah. Very good. Thank you. That's very interesting.
All right. So moving on. So we got Brian. All right. Sure. And do we want to look at the UK and France, or what areas?
No, I don't
what
want,
were
I don't
you
need to be
looking for?
at all,
Mhm.
country area, kind of specific. I think
Mm-hmm.
what I'm looking for, and I don't know whether these are connected enough, but this experience that I mentioned, with this reunion that I was, college reunion, I was engaged in for 3 days over this last weekend,
Yeah.
really made me feel powerfully that I need to be in more communities and also looking for events, whether they're week-long spirituality groups, or it could be anything, where I can just be connected with people and be face to face and having that kind of really good energy, coming into me, because I've been too isolated over the last 6 months or so. And so wherever that is in the world,
All right. So connecting to more like spiritual communities. So that would be more Neptune
and it doesn't
energy.
have to be spiritual community specifically, but community where, I'm going to be able to engaged, kind of with people.
And are you looking for that to be in the US, in Europe, or just anywhere?
Could be anywhere. Yeah.
Okay. Because it's just
Not
interesting that
Antarctica.
not Antarctica, yes. It's interesting that you mentioned Ireland, the UK, because you do have spiritual energy there. You have your Neptune line there. So right through Ireland. So this is a good place to go to. You have Pluto energy as well. So they're both MC energies, so it has to do with the future. So I'm almost feeling like this is a place for you to settle down, or to do these retreats that you're thinking about. Especially in the Ireland area, the Isle of Man, and then up near Scotland, in the islands in that region. There's also healing energy that you have because of Chiron. So this is tapping into ancestral connections because it's icy. So that's near London. I think it's like Canterbury, like that region. Near Canterbury. And then also the French region here. So the northern French region, also Paris, and the north of France, and then down into, also southern France. So that line. So yeah, staying in those regions would be really good for you. And then community, I would probably look at Venus energy. So I see it right here. It's going through, through Germany, down through Switzerland, and down into like northern Italy. So those would be great places to find community because of that Venus energy. All right. You can see, Denmark also, you have your Venus line going right through there as well. All right, so moving on to Thelma. Let's see.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, and if you have any questions, you can definitely just send me a DM or an email afterwards. So. All right, so Thelma, any places that you want to check out? Is it Japan or is it somewhere else?
Yes, in general, right now I have a lot of difficulties in my life, so anything that I can sort out will be great. The major difficulties associated with my youngest daughter disability, and where I feel like I like the place where I am, not nature-wise and all that, but I'm not sure that I'm in the right place, because I want to get to that place where you say, like, I have better energy flowing through, and it's easier to accomplish things. It's easier to actually develop your personality and help others, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
And are you based in, where are you based in right now?
Right now in Massachusetts.
Okay. So in Massachusetts, just make sure.
So there's this long going issue, and I need to make a decision now, and I just want to make sure that I have done everything that I could, or maybe that I need to continue working on it. That would be like the information, the most important information I need to know. And that might, bring me somewhere else. Maybe I need to move somewhere else. Maybe I need to go somewhere else. I don't know the implications.
Yeah, so I do see that you have love energy there. So I don't know if love brought you to, are you in the Boston area?
In Western Massachusetts, but exactly that's the reason why I'm moving here.
Okay. Yeah, because you have your Venus energy, it's Venus MC, and it has to do with like future love, like settling down, and finding that harmony between love and like your professional. But then at the same time, there's that Saturn energy. So there's a lot of discipline. And like I was mentioning, the other partner may start feeling neglected, or like you're overworking and you're not paying attention to them. So that may be the energy that you're feeling there, in terms of your partner, in terms of family members. And there's also a disharmonious energy, not in Western Massachusetts, but on Eastern, so east of Boston. And this disharmonious energy is the sun, and it's AC. So it's almost like you don't see the sun within yourself. You don't see the value.
Yes.
And that is the negative energy that's in that area. Even though you were brought there for love, there is a lot of discipline, a lot of like just working hard type of energy, and then not seeing the value in yourself. So that's what you're feeling there.
Yes, exactly. This is exactly what's going on in here. And I just wondered, like, maybe I should go somewhere else, and where is that I should be going to?
Yeah. Well, just in the US, right? You're looking.
I'm in the USA, but I can go anywhere. Like,
yeah. Well, in general, Georgia looks good. You have your Venus energy going through there. So Venus AC, which has to do with self-love, like really like taking care of yourself.
So my chart is keeping me in the United States. Is that what you say?
Well, if you're looking like specifically at the US, that would be a good place. But if there were other places in particular, because it could get very complicated, that's why my sessions, I usually do 3 places that we focus on. Otherwise, we could spend all day looking at the whole world.
I didn't know that. So you say like if I stay in the United States, I should maybe I will enjoy more my life in Georgia and stuff.
Yeah, like Georgia, you would be surrounded by love, by community. Like definitely you would feel like you want to take care of yourself. Like good communication. Yeah, like southern you, like southeast US looks really good for you. Good communication, there's love, healing energy. And let's see.
We are almost running out of time, so I do want to leave. We have about 15 minutes to go, and I want to make sure we have any questions from the larger group.
Awesome.
Just in case, and we can track back to this. So yeah, drop your questions, ask your questions, share your questions.
Please.
All the questions.
Yeah. Oh, Thelma, I was just going to tell you, Denver, Colorado looks really good. You got Jupiter energy there. And then California, you have your moon line and also spirituality kind of in the San Francisco area. So just to keep those in mind.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So
I have one quick question on the maps, actually. When you have those circles, Like the circles that are like you have the
The
lines.
big circles. Yeah.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Yeah, so that's what I mentioned at the beginning. So you might have those in the middle of the ocean, or you might have those over land. And I usually say you're lucky if you have them over land, but it's the strongest energy of that particular planet. So there's only one for each planet. So it might be AC, it might be MC, it might be whatever, but it's only for one planet. So you'll have one for Jupiter, one for Venus, and they're scattered around. Yeah, but it's kind of random. I don't know how it's calculated, but yeah, once it comes out in your chart, that's what it is. It's the strongest energy of that particular planet. Yeah. Yeah, so I usually make a joke. I have a few in the middle of the ocean. So I'm like, yeah, maybe I have some like Atlantis energy or something. Something meant to connect, mermaid energy. So yeah, so thank you so much for sticking around. These are the ways to work with me. Let me make
Yeah,
this
I have the links also on our page on meetup.com. All the links to Facebook, your
Awesome.
Instagram, website.
Yeah.
And
I have a podcast which I bring on like all my past clients, so you can kind of hear through their stories like what astrogeography can offer you. I also have 3 best-selling books in the She Speaks series, where I talk about my journey into astrogeography and also my connection to the world with astrogeography. And I offer one-on-ones and group offerings. So you can always, jump on a clarity call if you want to see like what's a good fit for you. And I'm always, working with a broad community. And I love just helping people feel unstuck, right? They probably feel stuck in their life, and I want to give them hope. So they can start traveling and connecting to these energies, or bringing these energies into their world. Like Anna was maybe drinking wine from a certain region, or maybe like Faris, like cooking certain foods to bring that energy into your life. So thank you so much.
yeah.
Does anybody have any questions? Yeah, I see Brian.
Yep, thank you. So I'm just curious, I had a partner who often traveled based on what her spirit guides were telling her. And I'm just curious whether, to the extent that, you have spirit guides, whether you've used them as that, resource. So just thought I'd,
No, that's a good question. I don't necessarily have, I don't have like my guide Brian, or I don't have like specific names, but I feel like I do use my pendulum. I have people that are adoptees or refugees that may not know their birthday or their birth time. So I have used my pendulum in those circumstances to kind of pinpoint what the message is that they're meant to receive, right? Because it may not be the exact time or the exact date, but at least whatever comes up is the message that they're meant to receive. So that's usually how I go into those sessions. So yeah, I've worked with my guides in some form. So, but that's usually through I use my little pendulum. I don't know if you can see it. There you go.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Oh, Thelma. Yeah, I got your message. Yes, you can DM me about Japan, and I can tell you after
Thank
the
you so
session.
much. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Cool. There are all the social channels. I just dropped it. It's also on our meetup group.
All right, awesome. Yeah, but you
so
got my podcast and my books. You can check out on Amazon, my group program, and my one-on-ones. So there we go.
Well, thank you, Melissa. And
You're very welcome.
what an experience. I personally love astrogeography. I just know very little. And I really think that there was a lot of people who were not able to join today who were messaging me asking if this can happen again. So
yeah, I would love to come on also. Yeah, if you
yeah, no, I'm cycling through all of my friends who have spiritual gifts, and I'm like, okay, now we need to start repeating because I know a lot of people missed it, and this community is growing really fast because I think there are so many topics that are coming up now. Like I started this group in January or February, something like that. I think
of this year.
this year,
Wow.
yeah.
And I noticed you have like 300, right? So far. Oh my God, that's amazing. Yeah.
And it's just because, I mean, I know it's because there's so many people who are ascending and they're like, I don't know what to do with this. And I emphasize during our meetups on Tuesdays is that spiritual gifts come in more forms than just psychic abilities. And yes, some of us have psychic abilities, but that is not where spiritual gifts end. So that's why I've started this series on, your spiritual gift is growing magic mushrooms, ayahuasca, astrogeography, manifestation, EMDR, human design. There's just so many facets of spirituality. And really, I really enjoy being able to share this because there might just be one person who is literally uncovering their spiritual gifts, and they need that one person who can validate and say like, oh, that's what my gift is. Like, I feel that. And I think that, for myself, I wanted a community of people that we can nerd out about our gifts in a safe space, in a comfortable container where we can talk about those cool experiences. But yeah, so thank you. Thank you, Melissa, for living in your purpose. Thank you for coming on today. Thank you for following your path, which was meant for you. Thank you for sharing how cool you are. And I definitely would love to have you back. I dropped all the links there. I dropped our YouTube and Facebook group. Coming up every Tuesday, we have Uncovering Spiritual Gifts, 12 p.m. Eastern, if you'd like to join, just to connect with other people. We also have, on Friday, I'm trying a new thing called Uncovering Your Dreams Analysis. I'm going to try it. The only reason why, and I'll show you exactly why, because in this house, do you see where it says dreams? I don't know. I looked up one day and I was like, I'm going to make that a new Uncovering Spiritual Gifts. So I made one for tomorrow. We'll see how Friday,
Nice.
at 12 p.m. Eastern. And then 2 weeks from now, we have manifestation. And then I have a big update for all of July is completely booked, which I'm so excited to share all the topics. So yeah, this has been great. So thank you everyone for coming, and I'm gonna finish off this recording.